most healthy, nutritious, safe, cooked food in the United States that's rescuable ends up going in the garbage. And that's really a shame. The way the business is structured today is that there's so much waste. Our other project, our agricultural project, and that's something that you don't need to worry about litigation. That's something that we're spending a lot of time talking to other countries about, because that's really doable everywhere. Utilizing excess food to feed the poor is practiced everywhere in the world, but not like we do it, and sometimes not at the scale we do it. We have some benefits that other countries might not have. I'll give an example. People listening to this can say to themselves, okay, everywhere I go in the US and Canada, it doesn't matter where you are, I'm seeing food waste. I'm at the same type of events that Joseph's talking about. I work in a company. Now, why isn't this food going to the poor? And so one thing we've been fortunate is that the Ministry of Health has worked with us here, okay, to figure out practices that they're comfortable with. And unfortunately, in the United States, I'm American, I grew up in the United States. Unfortunately, there's a big fear, even though you have the same health codes, there's a big fear of food poisoning, and there's a big fear of lawsuits. And so people have to work with their local health authorities to say, I want this to happen. There are poor people in these communities who could benefit from this food. It's a challenge. It's work. There are people doing it without that guarantee, but most healthy, nutritious, safe, cooked food in the United States that's rescuable ends up going in the garbage. And that's really a shame. So sad. And so there are people who've done it. There are people doing it. There are agencies throughout the United States doing it, but they could be doing a lot more if there wasn't this fear, which comes from a reasonable place in the United States. It's a very litigious society. And so a big caterer will call their lawyer, and their lawyer will say, what do you need this for? Right? Yeah, sure. You want to do a good deed. You want to do a mitzvah. But if something goes wrong, it could get very ugly. And so people need to. And so, yes, part of it a little bit is the state of Israel is a mission. Every country has a mission. We're a mission that's been around for thousands of years. And so I think that's part of it. I think it bothers people that the success, the capitalist success of the state of Israel over the last quarter century has actually created much worse poverty than existed beforehand. When we were poorer, we had less poverty. Now we're richer, the country's become much more expensive. The wage gaps have become much more stark. And so people are disturbed by it. No one wants to hear that their neighbor works a full-time job and still needs help from welfare. And if they need help from welfare, then we better make sure that we can help them. And so one of the ways to help them, literally for pennies on the dollar, is making sure that when you make an event, if you work in a catering firm, if you're a hotel owner, making sure that this perfectly good food, which literally a minute ago you were offering to your guests, I'm going to come with a solution to you. If you accept my solution, which is refrigerated trucks which show up with professional drivers, then we're onto something here. And thankfully in Israel, it's mostly been that way. You need the refrigeration. You need the willingness of either government or philanthropy to put their money into this. And we've been fortunate that we've had all those things come together, and a very strong volunteer spirit here. You know, when you tell people that Jews come from all over the world to volunteer in Israel, that's not like a normal. It's not just Jews. We have other groups also that come, but it's not a normal thing. Yes, people do go. There are these volunteer trips, but not like this, and that's very unique, and that helps us. That's, by the way, if I take our other project, our agricultural project, and that's something that you don't need to worry about litigation. That's something that we're spending a lot of time talking to other countries about, because that's really doable everywhere, but you need to have the volunteer spirit. The fact that we have 1,000 to 2,000 volunteers every week helping in the farm, helping in our distribution center to repackage stuff, maybe you can't count on that everywhere. Now, granted, we have the right weather. We're a small country. There are things that we can do that others can't, but there are others like us who can do it just like us if they would put their minds to it. We're serving now on a weekly basis over 400,000 people. Jewish and non-Jewish alike, Muslims, Christians, Arabs, Bedouins, Druze, refugees, everyone gets served by Leket equally.